Hello Year 2, welcome to your second English lesson of the week. Okay, so we are going to be starting to think about our own story for Journey in a little while. But first, we've got some keyword practice to do. So at the bottom of the screen are 4 of our key words: even, great, both and sugar. I would like you to pause the video and I would like to write each of those sentences out and add in the missing word. So the first one says, the girl's reading was... Now, we know it's not going to be sugar because that would not make sense. So pause the video, write those 4 sentences out and add in the missing correct word. Okay, if you've done that, it should read like this. The girl's reading was great. The sugar is very sweet. You can both go and play outside. And the last one, today we are learning about odd and even numbers. Well done if you got all of those correct. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to go on to some spelling practice. And these are our spellings for the week. And do you remember we often do pyramid spellings? Often in our pink books in guided reading, there's a place for them. Okay, so you might have to explain to your mum and dad what a pyramid spelling is. So we've done the first one for you. So the first word is pastel. So you write the P for pastel. Then underneath it, you write the first letter and the second letter. Then underneath first, second and third until you've completed the word. This is really good because it helps you to remember which letter comes after which. So pause the video and have a go at writing those 8 spellings in pyramids. Okay, so we've already done lots of work this morning and now we're going on to the main part, which is our story, The Journey. So I'm going to start by reading you the whole story again, okay? Because I love this story. It's one of my favourite stories. Let's get the whole thing in. There we go. So, in a dreary and desolate bedroom sat a sullen-looking girl called Rebecca. She was miserable because she had nothing to do. One morning she drew some pictures with her special red crayon. After the 3rd picture, she decided to be a little more mischievous. She picked up her crayon and made an outline of a door on her bedroom wall. Excitedly, Rebecca stepped back to admire her door, and to her amazement, the door opened. Bravely, Rebecca stepped through the door. Immediately, she felt the blazing sun beam onto her face, and she felt the boiling hot sand between her toes. Where am I? She wondered. In the distance, she could see domed buildings surrounded by a thick brick wall. Cautiously, she walked towards the ancient buildings, but stopped when she saw fierce-looking guards charging towards her. Rebecca was terrified. Suddenly, she remembered her magical red crayon. As quick as a flash, she drew a flying carpet and hoped that it would take off. She jumped on and whoosh! She zoomed high into the sunset sky. Her heart pounded like a drum as she flew back to the door of her dreary but safe bedroom. What a lucky escape that was. Okay, so hopefully you know this story quite well now. You've been practicing it with actions to help you remember. And also there is a story map of it that you can print off because you're going to need that later on in the week. So here is the first part of the story map. Now, it doesn't have all the words on because we've drawn some pictures to help us remember. So it says in A, D and D. Now, can anybody remember what was D and D? Well done if you said it was a dark and dreary. Then next to it, done a picture of a bed. Okay? So it goes, in a dark and dreary bedroom. We haven't put all the words on. So we've got sat a sullen looking girl. Do you remember what the word sullen meant? It meant miserable, didn't it? So we've got, in a dreary and dark bedroom sat a sullen looking girl called Rebecca, full stop. She was miserable because she had nothing to do. One morning, she drew some pictures with her special red crayon, full stop. After the third picture, she decided, here she is deciding, look, to be a little more, the plus sign is for more, a little more mischievous, full stop. She picked up her crayon and made an outline of a door on her bedroom wall, full stop. Excitedly, she stepped back to admire her door, and to her amazement, here she is looking amazed, the door opened. And you could have an exclamation mark at the end because that is really exciting. Now, your challenge today is to use that part of the story map, because we're not changing this part. Our innovation that we looked at yesterday changes the next part once she'd stepped through the door. So the first part of our story is going to stay the same. So what you need to do with your grown-up, perhaps, is have a go at acting out this part of the story with those actions. Keep saying it over and over again so that you remember all the actions and all the words. It wouldn't be the same if you missed parts of it out. Okay, so if I just read the pictures, it would say bedroom, Rebecca, miserable. Does that make any sense? No. So it's important that we use the words and the pictures to help us. When you've done this a few times, you've got an even bigger challenge. Your challenge now is to write that first part of the story, okay, to where the door opened. I want to make sure you've got your capital letters, your full stops, other punctuation, because remember we've been looking at an exclamation mark and we decided that at the end we could have an exclamation mark because she was amazed that the door actually opened. So then when you've done that, your grown-up is going to look at it with you and check that you've got everything in there. Does it make sense? Have you included all the words? If a word is on here, like the word mischievous, have you spelt it correctly? Use the story map to help you. Okay, you're allowed to use the story map. I'm not expecting you to remember the whole thing, but use the story map to help you, to give you clues of what it is that you should be writing next. And then tomorrow, we are going to look at the part of the story that we are innovating. So we'll be innovating our story map tomorrow. Do you remember what that means? We'll be crossing parts of it out and writing or drawing pictures to put our changes in place. So today you are just copying it. You are making it the same. This part of the story is just the beginning and there are no changes to be made. If you come across a word and you're not sure how to spell it, there is also a word mat with lots of different words on that are used during this story. I'm looking forward to seeing these stories at the end of the week, because by the end of Thursday, we will have written our whole story. Make sure you keep it neat. Use that beautiful handwriting, because Mrs. Hodges will be looking at them and checking we've got all that beautiful joined writing with all those entry strokes and exit strokes. Have a go. Speak to you soon. Bye.